Welcome back, riders, to another week in the passenger seat.
Woo!
All right. You know how we do. We're gonna get you up to speed with some nerd news.
Yeah.
For all of you watching, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We always appreciate y'all, riders. And let's get right into this. This one's gonna be short and sweet. So yeah, I'm gonna hop in. I'm talking about Magic the Gathering. Y'all know I always love to talk about Magic, especially because I'm really there's a lot of things to be hyped about right now. So recently, like the most recent thing, at least this past week, has been the drop of the Chocobo bundle for the holiday season. For those of you who didn't know or who weren't able to obtain Final Fantasy product for Magic the Gathering, they decided to do end of the year release with Final Fantasy again, where they were doing, I believe it was 3 or 4 scene boxes, a reprint of the starter deck for Cloud. And I think what they did for that one was that they changed a couple of the arts on the cards to mimic the OG FF7 game that came out for PS1. And one of the most hyped things for this whole holiday season, this whole drop, was what's called the Chocobo bundle. Now, the Chocobo bundle is an ETB. Well, what we refer as an ETB. It's basically this bundle that brings a couple of booster packs and some goodies, a couple of extras that makes it a little bit more worthwhile. And I'm going to show y'all right here because I picked up 2. Okay, so I managed to get 2. And I'm going to show you here what it looks like sealed. Okay, so this is a Chocobo Chocobo booster bundle. As y'all can see, it has a little Chocobo tracks right there on the side. And then on the back, it'll tell you what it brings. It brings a couple of booster packs, 10 to be exact. It brings an alt art Birds of Paradise. I mean, that's a commander staple right there with Chocobo. So very premium character. One of 24 borderless Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy scene cards. So it brings one of the scene cards. A special Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy Chocobo Edition card box. Okay. It brings 16 traditional foil and 16 regular basic lands and special click wheel life counter, plus 1 special 12 card Chocobo booster. Okay, now, this is sealed. I'm going to keep it sealed. But let's talk about what it looks like out of the box because, again, I got 2. One, which I'm keeping sealed. The other, which I opened. And this is what the box looks like. Okay?
Running Cactus Man.
Running Cactus Man. Okay, so this box is gonna bring a cool little poster with the Chocobo, and obviously we got Cloud there riding the Chocobo. It has, I haven't pulled any of this out, but this is like a little token that you can, like card token thing that you can pull out with these smaller tokens on the side. It brought 10 packs. I opened them, and what's really cool is that Chocobo booster will bring 2 cards aside from the other. I think, if I'm not mistaken, what the other cards were other than the first 2. The first 2 are 2 random cards, which I'm going to show you right here. They should be somewhere. Don't tell me that I don't have them here. That's a bummer. Okay, so they're not in this box. Whoop-de-doo. All right, I have them over here. I just have them here because I'm planning to sell these. So, okay, so the 2 cards that I got were Yuna, Hope of Spira, and Locke Treasure Hunter. Okay. So you probably can't see this. See, I'm gonna try to bring this up to the camera to see if this can. No, it's not focusing too well. Maybe.
Yeah, I see it.
No, but you can't. Do you? Oh, actually, does it? Can you see the foiling from there?
Yeah, of course.
What does the foiling look like to you? Can you tell what it is?
It looks like a couple like stars or like something like that. Like,
okay, cool. So it's actually not stars because if you look at this,
what am I looking at? The Chocobo feet?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they're Chocobo track foils. And so
Oh,
there's
okay, cool.
yes, there are two cards that have the Chocobo tracks all over them. And yeah, the some of them are pretty expensive. Yuna is one of the most expensive, so I hit pretty well on that booster pack. I think the most expensive one is the Snapcaster Mage, which is currently going for 175.
All right.
Yuna's going for 115, so not too bad. I got a couple of other things which were pretty exciting in that box, but yeah, if you happen to have a chance to pick up one of these boxes at retail, don't get it, off the secondary market because I think they're starting to sell them like at 200.
Jesus.
If you have a yeah, if you have a chance to get them at retail, get them at retail. And yeah, these, the boxes are super cool. They're really exciting. And yeah, hopefully, I wish you all to get good pulls if you do decide to get one of these. I'm going to keep one of them sealed just because I think this is really cool. It's going to be a collector's item in a couple of
Nice.
years. Yeah. And speaking of Magic, we have Lorwyn Eclipse coming up in January, I believe, and that's going to be pretty exciting as well. There's a lot of, there's huge, um, what's the word? Fan base? Not fan base. Yeah, I guess you could call it fan base. There's a lot of love for Lorwyn, so a lot of people are excited about that upcoming set. And then after that, we're gonna have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is also gonna be a huge
Yeah.
thing.
Um,
Yeah, so so really exciting, really exciting. Riders, let us know down below, like if you do play Magic,
I might get a
what
booster
set
bundle.
you're.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me, dude. That pizza box one looks
Yo, yeah.
insane. It
Sorry,
looks pretty
continue.
insane. I just keep it sealed, honestly. But that's basically all I have to say regarding that. I mean, for people who play competitively in standard, there is a card that saw a recent spike in price. It's called Artist Class, which is card from Bloomborough. It shot up in price because of an Is It deck. Carlos, you're familiar with Is It because when we played Magic, you were really into the Is It
I
colors.
remember that one.
Yeah. So this card is seeing a lot of play in Is It decks, which are, basically dominating the meta right now. It jumped from $7 to $30 each copy of Artist Class. So yeah, if you do have copies of those, good for you. I'd probably sell them now before they tank. But yeah, that's all I had regarding Magic. Carlos, you got the floor, my guy.
All right. Surprisingly, I'm going to start with the biggest news, which obviously, by the date of when we release this video, all of you guys are going to know this. Netflix, in a bid war, has won the rights to Warner Brothers Studios. Let me see if I got it here. Film and streaming business for $72 billion, man. Jesus
Jesus,
Christ.
Jesus.
So
Yeah, I heard about that
obviously,
one.
what does this mean for us nerds, or literally for anybody? It means that Netflix will now own and run essentially their streaming and film, which includes the DC properties. It includes those movies. It includes
Hmm.
everything that you basically find on HBO Max. Now, does it mean that HBO Max might end? Uh, maybe not. It could be pushed. Everything could be pushed to Netflix, or Netflix is going to be really smart about it and charge you $20 for Netflix and $20 for HBO Max, make it $40
Hmm.
profit without you even noticing. So honestly,
Yeah.
I know some people are like, oh man, that sucks. But at the same time, like Warner Bros. Is bankrupt. What do you want them to do? They're gonna have to get the money somehow. This does not mean that Netflix owns Warner Brothers. So it does not mean that Netflix owns Universal Studios. It does not mean that Netflix owns property characters like Bugs Bunny, even though Bugs Bunny belongs to Warner Brothers. It does not mean that. It just means they run their streaming services and films and make the revenue off of that, basically. So they're I guess you would say partners, but it could open up
Mm.
a big thing for a lot of people, like a Stranger Things a park in Universal Studios. And that might
Right.
be exciting for a lot of people because now they have connection like that where they can make multiple things happen and make more money off of that and blah 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 blah. So
Right.
don't look too much on the negative. Look at the positive, and maybe Netflix might actually gain Warner Bros. Some money back and stuff. So they'll basically be running the Harry Potter series that's coming out as well. Um, on
Can
lower
I
news. Oh,
can I
sorry. Go ahead.
interject on yeah, can I interject on that real quick? I saw a post and maybe you can inform me a little bit more because that was new, that was enlightening to me regarding them being more of a partner more than Netflix being like the sole operator of Warner Brothers now.
Mm.
Um Netflix is famous for cutting any series or whatever when it isn't producing enough, right? We know that
Of course.
Netflix is right very infamous for that. Do you think that Netflix would have the authority or ability to cut maybe certain classics that we know from Warner Brothers if it's not generating enough revenue? It's one of the
It's a
concerns that I saw
possibility.
online.
It's a possibility, but it just so I make myself just so I make it clear so everyone won't get confused. Netflix owns the film and series parts of Warner Bros. They own it. So yes, they get to make those decisions. When I
Mm,
talked about partnership, it was more on the other things that Universal can do while having partnership with them, such as, toys or the theme park like I talked about and things like that. But yes,
mm.
Netflix technically has the final say because they own it now. So
Interesting.
it could be a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
could cut left and right, but let's be real. If Netflix has that money and Warner Brothers doesn't, someone's making the right financial decisions.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's just there's some IPs which are so nostalgic to some people.
Mm,
And now that the basically corporate greed has the power to end that, basically. I mean, for all of you who are, fans of something, I mean, obviously it's not great to be in that mindset. Some people just like to have certain things because of the emotional value that it holds. But I think we need to start thinking in the sense of, well, if they're going to be greedy, then ultimately so are we. So if you have an IP that you really like, maybe you collect the VHS tapes, maybe you have some type of thing that's really special like that. If that ever gets cut, guess what? That's going to be in a collector's market and you're probably going to make bank. So, yeah,
it's a
so
possibility that Netflix could take a step back, though, in the sense that Netflix will own it, the streaming and the movies, still
mhm,
operate it under the Warner Brothers brand,
mhm,
and run both so it almost seems like Netflix isn't even there, which is exactly what Disney does with Fox and Hulu. Disney owns both of them. You don't really notice Disney around, but they own it and they make the profit out of it. So I it could be one of those things where they'll have HBO Max streaming and they'll
mhm.
have Cartoon Network or whatever that's owned by Warner Brothers, but you'll just never really see the Netflix time. But they're there. They're behind,
Yeah.
They're
You know, it'd be
making the money.
really I think, and going back to the positive, right? We can't just dwell on the negatives. Um, the same way that Netflix has the ability to pull the plug, I believe Netflix also has the ability to bring certain things back that we haven't seen in a long time. So,
That's
can you
fair.
imagine like Animaniacs produced by Netflix? You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
the last one that they made was really funny, in my opinion, and just other titles that maybe you don't see that much love given to, or they couldn't dedicate the resources, because they were in financial straits. Now
Yeah.
Netflix has the ability to fund some of those ideas and bring some of those things back. So look on the bright side, folks. I mean, it's gonna be only time will tell. I think that's the main part to take away with this. Yeah, tell us what you think. Like, let us know down in the comments, you know, first of all, what your biggest concerns are, and then secondly, maybe something positive too. Also, if my assertion is correct, if it's correct, if you think my prediction would become true, yeah, just let us know down in the comments.
Uh,
Um, s-
so,
Sorry, another quick
speaking about,
parentheses here.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry. So there's one thing I did want to mention since we were already in the space of films and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I'm gonna fucking butcher this. I'm so sorry. Um, so recently we had a death in the movie world, and that was Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. We know him from, well, at least I do, most famously from Mortal Kombat back in 1995. Shang Tsung. What was his famous line? "I will steal your soul." Was it?
I have no idea.
Dude, you didn't see the original Mortal Kombat?
Oh my god, like one time when I was young.
I haven't. To be honest, I haven't seen it in forever. Let me see.
I just remember the original Street
Ah, there.
Fighter.
Your
For me,
soul
it's
is
just
mine.
oh.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, going back to it's he passed away recently, so R.I.P. For those of you who are fans, I mean, it's sad. Anyways, I just wanted to leave that small insert in there, and yeah, sorry, you can go ahead.
No, it's cool. I was just gonna say, we're now that we're in the topic of DC films that Netflix decides to take over. We got our first teaser. Now that you guys can, by saying this, you guys can actually tell when we recorded. Our first teaser of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and it's literally just her sitting with sunglasses on while there's an explosion in the background, I think. Point
Interesting.
is, by the time this video will get released, you guys will probably be seeing the trailer already. The trailer will drop December 11th for full-length trailer, so you guys can let us know in the comment section what you thought about the trailer, because by the time this video gets released, you've probably seen it already.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
true.
let us know what you think. One piece of funny news. It's nerd news, yes, but it has nothing to do with, like, I guess you would say, like, a big company, essentially. So in a small town, like, it's such a good story. I love wholesome stories like this. I'm a big comic book nerd, and obviously you don't even have to be a comic book nerd to understand how big the significant of the story is. So a young boy is talking to his grandma and
No,
says,
I already, I already know where this is going. Did his
wait,
grandma
wait,
have
wait.
something collectible that was worth a shit
She
ton?
said, she said, "Oh, I know you like comics, so I got a bunch of them in the attic if you want to go searching." This man, this boy, finds issue number 1 of Superman.
Fuck.
And it's not even that. It's not even that, because there has been issues of Superman found before, sold for like, $5 million, $4 million. He gets it, goes to an auction. The auction grades it at a 9 out of 10. They buy it from him for $9.12 million, bro.
I think that's the highest copy ever sold.
Highest ever sold. 9 out
Jesus.
of 10, pristine. That's how the grandma kept it.
Number one Action Comics, huh?
Number 1,
That
bro.
is that's insane, my guy.
That is I think it's a cool, wholesome story, because it's just kind of like the grandma's just like, oh yeah, I mean, I have something up there. Why don't you go look? And then bam, $10 million.
I wish, but most of my family are farmers. They didn't give a shit about comics back in the day.
That's what Mita.
Um,
And then you find one, you're like,
nah, dude.
let,
Um,
guys, if you find one, even if it's beaten up, sell it, bro. Sell it.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's
That's
cool,
such a
dude.
wholesome story to me. It's really cool.
Yeah,
But that's all the
that's.
news I have.
I hope they know how to deal with taxes, because
Yeah, let me tell you.
yeah. Anyways, so they should get a financial advisor for sure after that. But anyways, did you have anything else? Because I got one more thing.
No, I don't.
Okay, so last thing I'm gonna say here is that, and I know I'm late to the party. Obviously, I don't have as much time as I'd like to be able to sit down and play video games. I recently, at recently being today, I actually picked up Arc Raiders. It is a what's the proper definition for this type of game?
I apologize,
Uh,
guys. I'm done. I'm just getting over being sick.
you're good, man. Can't control the weather. Shit. Okay, so this type of game is a third person extraction shooter. Basically, what it means is that you go into a lobby with a bunch of people, and
Mm.
then your whole goal is to like go in, scavenge shit, and then try to leave the map, basically, within a certain time frame. So
Wait,
imagine,
is this Arc? Arc?
no, not Arc. I know
Oh,
it sounds
oh,
like
oh,
no,
oh, oh,
no, no, no.
oh.
So it's not ARK, it's ARC.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point of this game, because you're familiar with Apex. Apex is
Mm.
just like one map. You go in, King of the Hill, basically.
Okay.
In this game, it's you go in, you just pick up as much shit as you can carry, and you leave before the timer ends, or you avoid dying. Now, this is where it gets interesting because you have the option, right, to not take anybody out because there is a threat that isn't the other player or the other
Mm.
players on the map. So the story basically is, I guess robots took over. They took over like basically topside. People had to scurry underground, and basically scavengers go up. They're called raiders, and they go up and they collect shit to bring back down. And that basically is what fuels everything. The whole system. And basically, what makes the game interesting is you go up, you can fight the robots, which are called arcs, and the problem is when you get into these lobbies with other players, you could be cool with them, or you could be like what's the
A
proper
douche.
word? Yeah, sure. Let's call okay. But here's the thing though, right? There's limited loot. There's limited loot for people. So,
Okay.
and not limited, but like, in terms of like how rare some things are, like you want to get the best loot, right? So if you go to an area that has high value loot and somebody already took that stuff, are you gonna down that person and steal their loot, or are you just gonna, let them go? And that's where the whole, human
I
morality
see where
thing
this
comes
is
into
going.
play.
Yeah.
So, dude, it's like you'll just be going around. I started playing and I was like, "Looty doo, I'm just gonna mind my own business." And what's cool about the game is that there's voice proximity chat. So when you get near to people, you can talk to them, or you could emote, and then the emotes will say like, "Hey, like,
Yeah.
don't shoot. Like, let's team up." you know and some people are cool. They'll come up to you and then they'll start talking on the voice chat, and they'll be like, "Yo, no, it's cool, like, let's go, I'll leave you alone, or we could go to the together." And then there's other people who are like, "Ah, nah, screw you, dude." Blah, blah, blah," and then you got to fight them or fight their team. So it's interesting for sure. I recently got into these extraction games. I started with Delta Force. That was my first one. And honestly, I had a friend tell me that it was similar to Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter is like an extraction game. You go in, you kill a monster, you get the stuff, you come back. I'm like, you make a good point. But at least in a shooter sort of sense, Delta Force was my first one. Arc Raiders being the second. I think these type of games, at least for me, the aspect that calls out to me the most is the social aspect. You go in with a bunch of friends, you have a good time. You don't really lose anything because there's not really like a huge downside to you losing or you dying.
There's no
Like,
ranking system.
you lose your loot, but I mean, you could always just go in later and try again.
Yeah.
The thing that's gonna hurt you the most is the time that you took to like actually go in and forage for stuff, and then you dying and losing all your stuff. Because that's another thing. If they kill you, you lose all your stuff. So you have to re-equip and go back in. Anyways, I'm enjoying it so far just because the social aspect. I go in with a couple of friends, we have a good time. So if you were looking for that type of game to play, again, I was late to the party, but it was released all the way back in October 30th. So yeah, pretty late to the party. But if you haven't played it so far and you've been itching to try and pick it up, I'd recommend that you do. Anyways, that is it from me. See, you said you got nothing else. So
I
riders,
don't.
with all that being said, thank you so much for joining us in the ride today, whatever time zone you're in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We always appreciate y'all. And with that being said, peace out.
Peace.